Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence. I'm Francis McCarthy. And the painting I'm bringing you today is called Coastal Cypress. I think it's a 5x7. If you're reading the blog posts on Substack, it might say 6x8 if I don't catch that. Who knows? I do know it's a 5x7. I just placed this in a gallery, and it looks really so beautiful. I thought, well, I hadn't shared anything like this for a while on my channel, and I think it's beautiful. And maybe you do too. And yeah, so members are getting the 4K same time as you're checking out this with no ads, and they also got the whole huge archive that they can enjoy there. But if you are interested in the live session of this, you'll get to see that in a few days. I always say Wednesday, but yeah, keep your eyes open for it. And yes, you're going to have to watch a few ads. And yes, it's going to be smaller. But if you're curious how I put this together, you want to go ahead and watch that. And of course, I'm going to lay some tips and stuff on you now. So the whole thing we're working on, I think it's MDF, and it's got a good 3 coats of house paint on it to act as a bit of a buffer so that board doesn't suck up all the paint. And we are currently doing our underpainting as we speak with the burnt umber. Yeah, and we won't be into that too long before we start. Ooh, moving into the color session now. That color session will be in that live area. So if you're one of these people, it's like, oh, I want to know more about the colors you used, then check that out because the whole mixing session is there. I'm not doing the palette thing too much anymore. It's just a lot of work for Uncle Mike. I'm waiting for the assistants to get involved and help me out there. Yeah. So my whole mission on this painting. In fact, we may be seeing a version of the color mixing session right now. I don't know. Not much is happening on screen, Mike. Either way, check it out. Yeah, we're going to be painting. Yeah, we're painting. We're good. We're good. Yeah, so I do a pre-mix, right? And I take you through the palette, and I take you through my mentation. Now, you'll also be able to, of course, check out the reference image during that color mixing session there too. So if that's your buzz, then check it out. My idea on this was that a couple things I want to get into. I wanted to do a tonal sort of coastal scene, right? And a lot of times when I've done these, I've gone kind of a bit of a ways away from tonalism. So much of what defines whether something is tonal or not is like how much you're holding back, or how much you're subduing colors and how much harmony there is between colors. So a lot of what might define something as impressionist over tonal is that the colors are a bit more strident and there's more contrast on the color wheel. So you might have a stronger, brighter red up against a stronger, brighter blue, that kind of thing. And what I'm always going for is kind of a more subtle approach. Yeah. So, and hopefully you're digging it. Anyway, the other thing I want to get into is I had, and you'll see if you check out that live session, you'll see the reference image there. Okay, I set up some reference image I thought was pretty cool, but it had 3 trees, and I did do a painting of that, and I think I still have the video somewhere, but I just didn't think it was very successful. I really loved the colors in the image. I love this, like, we're kind of like on a hill overlooking the ocean, and we got a little path. I think that's cool, but something was just wrong, and I decided to take another crack at it. Maybe it was a month later. After looking at that image for a while and deciding I was just not happy, I didn't throw it away. Someone will like it, I think. But this is way superior indeed. Yeah, and that's because I kept the focus on on just one tree. I think that made a much stronger statement. Okay, we're into the book here. We've been sending out books. It's not too late to get your orders in before Christmas. I don't know if you'll receive it before. You might do. If you hustle, maybe a little Christmas present for yourself. $65. International shipping is included. And I'll send it to you anywhere on the planet. I'm very proud of it. And we are working on the new book series. That's going to be coming out next year. It's all written, just a bunch of formatting and stuff. My editor's gone over all my text and done a brilliant job, I must say. She's a brilliant lady. Yeah. Anyway, back into the painting. So I like this sky. I think the sky is a real feature, And as is my way, I like to put that lighter bit of the sky up against the tree. This is just kind of a riff on the old Bob Rohm. That's Rohm. I don't know if he's still around, but his book was a big influence on me early on, and I always like to point people. It's called The Painterly Approach. Check it out. Yeah. One of the things I learned off of him very early on, very great lesson, is that wherever your subject is, in this case it's the tree. In fact, the name of the piece is Coastal Cypress, right? There's a lot of other interesting aspects of the painting, but the main focal point is that tree. You want to have your contrast always the strongest wherever the subject is, so that'll be your darkest dark against your lightest light. Very simple. Write it down and remember it, because that's gold. That's some good information, good tips. And that's one reason I like putting out those live videos. I could just do that. I did that initially. On the channel, I initially just went live for, I don't know, maybe a year, and then I don't know. So some people just didn't have the time or the patience, or maybe they just want the quick hit. And it could be me too. I like the 15-minute videos for that, because you get some tips, you get some insight into the painting process. But it's a 15-minute video. It's not a 2-hour video. Heck, some of the videos in that members area are up to 6 and 7 hours long, if it took me that long to make the painting. And there's a really good example of that is a George Ness a copy of my favorite George Ness ever, which I've got hanging in my home studio. I'm very proud of that. It looks good. Almost like going in the real thing, except it didn't. Okay, so yeah, the sky came out good. A little bit of a tip here. When you have some blue in your sky, in your reference, it might just be in one spot. I've laid this tip on you before, but we're always getting new people here. You don't just want to put that color in only one spot. And so in this case, I don't think there was much blue below the tree. So I brought in a little there, just so it doesn't feel too lonely and isolated, because what can happen if you do that is that it becomes the subject. Any color that's very strong and isolated will start to call attention to itself. And what you want is, once you've decided what the focal point is, what the subject is, everything else in the painting needs to be cool. It needs to be good. Don't mess it up. But it needs to support the subject. You don't want it too cool. If you're going to make it too cool, then that should be the subject of a painting. Say here, I thought the sky should be, the subject of the painting. Well, I probably wouldn't have this really strong tree, and in a sense, this is a best of both worlds, because the sky is beautiful. It totally contributes. The water's painted beautifully, and then we have a little path bringing us into the scene. And there's a lot to recommend this. One thing I did here, though, I believe, yes, I kept the greenish grasses. I'm not looking, I don't want to click away, but I'm doing a lot of these scenes right now, because this is the kind of thing that does well out here. I've got a few galleries that basically sell to tourists, and then we have so many awesome beaches. And it's if I like to, I mean, I like going to the beach. Don't get me wrong, but I don't go out of my way to go to the beach. My idea of a good time is making a painting of a beach, or a painting of a coastal scene like this, and then getting it into a gallery, and then that going into someone's home where they enjoy it. So yeah, I am. Yeah, our tour season started a month or so ago, so I'll be doing a few of these. But yeah, I got all kinds of different stuff I'm going to share with you, and yeah, we're going to keep the channel going. In spite of the fact that YouTube is like not that big on supporting creators like me, I'm not going to complain about it, because I don't just do this for me. I do this for tonalism. I do it to help you out, and if just a few of you are getting some benefit, that's good. Oh yeah, we did bring in the green down below, and that's one of the other tips I want to lay on you. And I was headed that way. I know I get a little roundabout, but if you got like a green tree, say you got some reference you're looking at. You got the green tree and the green grass, and it's green, green, green. You don't have to paint that grass green. You might want to make it a bit more of a summer thing, where you're bringing in a lot of browns and tans and maybe just a few greens, and that'll give you some more interest, right? You can do. I mean, obviously, in a case like that, if I have a green tree, green grass, then I'll make sure that's one of the things where I keep that permanent green light on reserve. If that's what I did here, that's permanent green light. Mostly, you're looking at that I just laid in with some cad yellow and things, and pump it up. And yes, we have the green, but you also notice I've got these tans, these dead grasses combined. I think there was a good mix in the reference image, but I don't mind. I won't change that necessarily in the reference image, especially now that I've had to kind of back off of Photoshop. I'm a little more limited with some of the changes I used to be able to make very quickly and easily. Yeah, I have to struggle a bit. But you know what? What is cool about that, this is maybe a good life lesson for the rest of you, is like, you may have ideas and intentions of things, and that's all good. That's part of what being an artist is, right? But if things don't always work out, then maybe you're not able to get that reference and happening like you like. But don't get so hung up on that you will maybe pass up something that was cool, that was maybe different than what you set out to do. And that's what's been happening for me quite a lot lately. Since I'm so used to work, I was working in Photoshop since 96, almost 30 years, right? But they decided I've been mad at them ever since 2013, when they decided to. I couldn't own my software anymore. I had to rent it, and that's just not a great. That's not a great plan if something's a tool that you use. And it was all good until they started getting extra greedy, and now you can get stuffed, Adobe. Hopefully the algorithm's picking up on that, because I don't care how hard I got to work now. I ain't going to be sponsoring that greed. Side rant, but yeah, I got to be somewhat used to it. Okay, so yeah, good tip if you are going to have the greens down in the grass on the ground. That's kind of what I hold that permanent green in reserve for that. So it's a little cooler, greener. I say cool, but you know what I mean. It's got that. So permanent green, if you didn't know, permanent green light is really a mix of the Hansa yellow with phthalo green. It's a two color mix in the tube. Really, a lot of paint companies find a way to mess it up. If you want to check out permanent green light for yourself, I can only really recommend the Gamblin iteration of it, or you just have yourself a tube of Hansa yellow, which you need to make the mic screen anyway. That's that the mic screen. That's my main green. Is made with that acrylide yellow, Hansa yellow. It's PY73. You'll see a lot of times it's being sold as CAD yellow hue. That's mixed with ivory black. That gives me the base green that I use for 90% of what I do. But that permanent green is great to fall back on, and you can make it yourself with the Hansa yellow, the acrylide yellow, and the phthalo green. So check that out. Anyway, until I come back with another video, hopefully for your edification and enjoyment. Have a good holiday season and all that, and we'll see you soon. Take good care. Stay out of trouble. Fight the power.